Now we are live. So welcome everyone for this week's community call. We got a special guest, Ramiro from PoktScan, and Michael is here as well. So yeah, exciting times. So we'll be able to take a look at some of the awesome utilities that PoktScan has in terms of how to utilize it in a much better way and to the fullest, really. So he's gonna be showing us some mini showcase series going forward on these community calls to showcase each of the features that they have on there. And yeah, it's a great tool. I know a lot of you guys use it. I use it. But yeah, this is something that is going to be great to have as reference as well for anyone to want to come back and take a look at um, how the boss uses it. Really, use it like a boss is what I would call it. So this is awesome. So we'll have that going. And of course, later on, we'll also have some community updates from the DAO regarding the protocol team, especially, and token terminal, HOM, head of marketing, and more. So, and then that will kind of lead us then into the other hot topic of the discussion that's been ongoing within the channel, especially the price TG regarding inflation. So that should be a pretty interesting topic to dig into. So I'm kind of excited because there's a lot of points of views from that end. So without further ado, let's pass this over to Ramiro, and yeah, go ahead and take over.
Okay, thanks, Shinx. Shinx, sorry, Ming. Well, this is the first of a series of presentations that we're going to make. It will be kind of short, and we'll start by presenting the supply page that it has its latest, and it has a lot to do with the other topics that we will discuss in this call, that is inflation and so on. So here's the main dashboard of PoktScan that we all know. And some of you might know that if you scroll all the way down, you find some supply. This info is there since. Sorry.
And
Okay. This information is here since a lot of time, but right in the last, I think it was last month or a couple of weeks ago, we added some more information. That if you click on here on more down here, it will take you to the supply page that we built. This supply page has all the information that's regarding to what you call inflation. That's actually the growth of the monetary base, all the minting, on all the burning that's going on the Pocket network. It's inspired in ultrasound.money. So we try to show the same information that they had there, but there's some difference because ETH and Pocket are not the same, but we aim to show almost the same information. It's divided. This page is divided in two main parts. The first is the summary, and then we have a lot of graphs that we'll see later. But this summary, this first part, is controlled by two things. The first is the currency that currently we cannot change, but in the future we will be able to choose USD. We are developing a way to track the price in a way that it's as fair as possible. So it will take us some time to get this running in USD, but for the time being, you can only choose Pocket. Also, you can choose a time frame to use to select for the summary to use as calculation base. You can choose 7 days, 30 days, or 90 days. But if you choose more than 7 days, currently, for example, 30 days or 90 days, you will be prompted with a warning. And this is important because if you choose 90 days or 30, you will be trying to see, for example, the burning projections and other data won't be accurate because there was no burning 90 days ago. So you will be prompted with this warning. And if you click read more, you can know when that data is going to be reliable. And it says here, for example, on 23 of June, the 30-day time period will be accurate, and the 90-day time period will be accurate from 25 of August, approximately. So For this presentation, we will use the 7 days period. The main problem that you see is the total burning projections. You see here is 12 million pocket, but if you choose 90 days, it's much lower. It's 40 million. That's because there's not enough information to do a good projection. But nonetheless, we'll use 7 days for everything that I will show you today. Well, in this main part, the summary, we have information of 3 different kinds. In one part, there is all the burned pocket that is unavailable to sell, or it's been burned. Then is the monetary base and how many liquid poker is there. And finally, the amount of minting and all the pocket that is being thrown to the market, to the liquid wallets. So let me explain you a little what are we showing here. All these small cards are the actual values when you choose a period. When you choose 7 days, it will go back 7 days and calculate the total minting, total liquid, and so on. If you choose a different time frame, these values will change because it will go back even further and just add up all that information. So let me explain you one by one what are these little cards. The first one is the burn pocket. This is the new feature. And this will tell us how much pocket was burned in the last 7 days. In the last 7 days, there was a payment of 203,000 pocket, and this payment was a little higher than last one. This number right below is the difference between the 7-day period and the previous 7-day period. So if you observe, well, here in the burned pocket graph, the last one was 203, and the one before it was 197,000. So the difference between those two is 5,000 pocket, and the burning grew by 2.7%. So that's the information that we see below. This pocket is no longer available to be sold, and it's discounted from the monetary base. Another kind of pocket that is not available, well, freely available to be sold at least in market, is the staked pocket. And this accounts for all the pocket that is locked up in the nodes and in the applications. It's all the staked pocket in the network. And it's almost 900 million pocket that's been locked. Also, we see the same, the difference to the last period, and we see it's growing a little bit. Then we have the monetary base. The monetary base is the sum of all the pocket that we have in the system, but there is some asterisk here that need to be explained. This monetary base does not include the DAO funds nor the locked wallets that are vested. So there are some wallets that are locked and cannot be operated on. So we exclude those wallets. They are from the PNI. There were, or at least that was what they explained to us, like early investors. So they are not included here, and also the DAO funds are not included. So the monetary base makes up for all the pocket that can be freely sold in the market, including the stake pocket, because you could sell an stake node, for example. So if the DAO makes a payment, it will be reflected as an increase in monetary base. For example, in the last week, the DAO pushed payments for, I think it was 1 million pocket or something like that. So that was, 1 million, well, I don't remember, but that is included to a monetary base. You can think of DAO payments as printing. And all the DAO funds are taken out because you don't, or we don't account for the power that has the DAO to print money, because nobody does. Because, for example, nobody accounts for the amount of ink in the world to print USD, to print dollars, for example. You know that they can do it, but you don't account that they will print whatever they want. So we also take that out from the monetary base. Below the monetary base is the change in the supply. That is something that we've been asked last week, I think. This is how much it grew in the last week. It grew 5 million pockets, and it's an increase of 0.35% in the monetary base in a period of 1 week. Then we have the liquid pocket right besides it. The liquid pocket, it's all the pocket in being held. That's in wallets, is free to be sold instantly in any exchange if you want. You can see that the amount of liquid pocket is 600 million. It's almost 60% of the 900 millions that is being staked. So we have a lot of liquid pocket right now. And it is decreasing, probably mostly to the increase in stake pocket. So these two are somewhat related. And also with the burning. Then we have all the minting, all the pocket that's being created, and it's part of, all the pocket that's entering the market. That's the unstaking pocket. This is all the pocket that's currently in the unstake period. It's all the nodes that entered the unstaking period of 21 days. So you can think of this metric as you know that 31 million pocket is going to be added to the liquid base in less than 21 days. You don't know exactly when. You have to track each unstaking if you want that, but at some point, this 31 million will be added to this 600 million as liquid pocket. And we see an increase in unstaking, like 30%. This might be, we don't know exactly, but this could be people leaving, that are no longer staking nodes or are changing providers. We don't know, but we know it's been increasing. And finally, we have the minted pocket. The minted pocket is all the pocket that's paid to node runners and validators through relays or validating blocks. You see that it's an increase of 12%, that it might be big, but there is a lot of this can vary a lot because we have this percentage. Since we adjust the relay to token multiplier by week, and 2 weeks ago there was a lot of minting, then we have a week with normal minting, so it makes like a ripple effect, all those spikes in traffic. But in the long run, this minting tends to stabilize when you choose longer periods. So minting will stay in a month, will stay almost constant, and in longer periods you will see the effect of the inflation controls. This is SER acting like this reduction in the minted. But let's keep with 7 days. So we can expect this to vary a lot in a week period. And with all these little cards explained, we can now explain what we see here in the three, I think there's, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, cautious, I don't know, these things here. What we see in these three are projections. There are no longer actual values because they are presented over periods of a year. And they are the projected burn, the projected growth, and the projected mint. The projected burn is simply we take all the burn that we saw in a week period, we divide it by 7, and we multiply it by 365.2, and we get an amount of pocket that's going to be burned in a year if everything stays the same. Number of relays, up burn multiplier, and everything the same. So we'll be burning 12 million pockets in a year. The mint pocket is the same, but we do it with the amount of pocket that was minted in a period of 7 days. This one, we divide it by 7, multiply it by 365, and we obtain how much pocket we're going to be minting in a year. With these two values, we can get the difference of these values, like 227 minus the burning, is 12, million, you get the change in the monetary base. So you can expect that the monetary change is going to grow because this number is bigger than this number. And when you compare that difference to the actual monetary base, you get, and you multiply it by 100, you get the percentage growth in a year. This is the amount that's going to grow the monetary base if nothing changes from now on. Some people call this, well, most people call this inflation. The term is actually not correct, but if you want the inflation that you always look for, is the projected growth in this dashboard. And it's important to note that this value here is not taking into account the SER proposal that it's going to be lowering the minting each month. We wanted to add that, but recently there have been so many discussions around SER that, and maybe they will change it. We don't know, so we don't want it to program it. We don't have time to program things that are not going to stay. So it's a simple projection as what will happen today. The actual, if SER continues until the end, this projected growth will be much, much lower probably. So that makes up for the summary of this first dashboard. There is all the information on the period of the 7 days, but we also added some graphs that might be useful that I'm going to try to describe them one by one right now. The first one is the burn pocket. We use bar charts for this since the burning is not on chain. It's actually done off chain by the DAO and manually in periods of a week. We decided to use bars to represent it. So we can see the three burning transactions that we have today. The first one accounting for 3 weeks, the second one, and the last one from the last week, 200K pocket. Then we have the monetary base that will show us how the monetary base is growing. These graphs have periods of 1 month by default, but you can easily change them from settings here. For example, we choose to summarize from a date range, and we go from, I don't know, let's go back until, I don't know, here, August 2021 to the current date here. Oh, sorry. Oh, my mistake. I have to go back all the way. September. I don't know how to use our own page. One moment. 1 September to there we go. Apply. Yeah. And also we can change the summarize every month, and we want to punish PoktScan, so we do it now. Let's do it by week, so it will be better. But there we go. We can see from September 2021 up to today how the monetary base changed, for example. And we see that we have the starting period of Pocket, then we have the massive growth in 2022. And then we see that we are like reducing the speed of the growth. And in the future, we will hope that this curve will show us how we are reaching like a asymptote, and hopefully it will start being, as you call it, deflationary. So this monetary base will start to be reduced. But for the time being, we can only see that it's growing slower every day. This monetary base is the derivative of this curve. You could say that it's the derivative. It's not actually, but it's quite it. It's the minted pocket by day. This will show us, for example, how much pocket was minted each day, in this case, each week from in each of the period. We can see the hyperinflationary period of Pocket that we had in 2021, in early 2022, reaching up to 30 million a week. That's, I think, if we put it in days, it will be it will show values that are more, will tell us more. For example, it minted 6 million in a day, for example, at its peak. And then WACME was implemented, and then FRAN, and then SER, and now the minting by day is only twice as it was when Pocket first started. All this inflationary period, hyperinflationary almost, correlates nicely with the stake Pocket. The stake Pocket is actually mostly the number of nodes that were staked in the system. You can see how the stake Pocket was rapidly increasing, and all this increase in stake Pocket meant that a lot of people was buying Pocket to be able to stake Pocket here. So probably drove the price up during this inflationary period. But then came the price drop and the WACME and the the PIP22. So we had this decrease in stake Pocket, first slow, then we have like a delta there, and so on. We decreased a little in the stake Pocket, and now we are growing again, but really, really slowly. If you're wondering what's this down tick here, this is the famous or infamous chain hold. So that day we don't have any info, so we see no info there. Along with the stake Pocket is the liquid Pocket, that is all the Pocket that was not staked. And we see something interesting, that actually the liquid Pocket is much higher now than when after the inflationary period, because all the unstaking, all the minted Pocket here and all the unstaking translated in a lot of liquid Pocket that we have today. You can see how the amount of Pocket that's been held has increased by a lot, almost duplicated since the start of the project. Also, we have the unstaking Pocket, and this is the last of the graph. The unstaking Pocket is all the Pocket that's in the 21 period, in the 21 unstaking period, and we see that this spike of unstaking started right after the peak of staked Pocket, and probably due to the fall in price. And right now it is stabilized. It's always a little noisy. It has almost no trend normally, and this is all probably changes of node providers and stuff like that. So we can get a lot of interesting information by looking at these graphs that are all related to the economy of the system. So feel free to explore them, to choose different date ranges, to summarize how you want. And if you find a nice picture, you can click here and don't directly download the image. So up, and I think that makes it all. Well, if you don't see anything here, it's because the ticks are too small. You will have to change it to at least a week to be able to see the burning ticks, because we don't have much information about that. One thing that it should be noted, that you might wonder if you look too hard on these numbers, is that if you add up the minting and you subtract the burning, you won't get the increase in supply. That's not an error. That's something that we want, because as we said, the monetary base did not include the DAO payments. So you would need to go to the governance tab if you want and see how much the DAO has, how many payments were in the last 7 days. So you can choose here, 7 days, apply, and you should need to add this amount to get the actual increase in the monetary base, because when DAO makes payments, we we account those payments as the DAO printing money to the system. So you will need to add this thing here to be able to get the real supply change in the period, in the selected period. And well, that's all. I don't know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's great. Very informative. So yeah, informative. Definitely allow us to get a little peek on what's all going on within the ecosystem and economy as well. And I'm sure many of you will utilize it more now that you will be able to customize it. So yeah, anyone have any questions for Ramiro regarding this or comments?
Yeah, love the page. I had added a comment in their PoktScan Discord, but just kind of mention it here. The monetary base, I guess, it forms also. What is it? Not. Oh shoot! Why did I? Circulating supply, right? I think other platforms call it circulating supply. The pocket that's well, no, because monetary base also includes staked pocket. So okay. Anyways, yeah. Graph that to really kind of make this a complete package would be the actual supply, because the monetary supply is taking out certain PNI wallets, it's taking out the DAO wallet, and things like that. And so like when I was trying to look at actual supply the other day, I realized I couldn't actually use this page to get the supply of Pocket, because I needed to get the actual supply, not just the monetary base, which can easily switch if a DAO grant is paid out. That's a couple million that just suddenly goes into the monetary base, right? So it doesn't actually track the supply, genuine supply. It's kind of more of like a circulating supply minus, or derivative less. So just a thought, but love the page and found it very helpful.
Yeah. I actually forgot I was going to mention what you said, and yeah, it's something that we are probably going to add. We do not know actually how or where, but because you will ruin us our beautiful layout. But what Shane is telling is that this monetary base does not account for all the minted Pocket. So if you go and add up all the Pocket, and you go block by block and address by address and add up all the data points, you will get something that's higher than this, because of the locked wallets and the DAO funds. So we should be adding some supply, Pocket supply, for example, or add some option to display Pocket supply instead of monetary base. But yeah,
what you could do is up at the currency, right where you have currency. I mean, if you wanted to kind of keep this layout, then you could just have a viewpoint or something, and they could either from the viewpoint of the monetary base or viewpoint of raw supply, and just changing that, just like you can change the currency. That could be a way to do it if you don't want to have to change your GUI. Just about.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Yeah, we could do that. It will only change this number. All the other numbers remain the same. This will change, but it's useful because maybe you want to see not the monetary base here, but the actual supply, and see it grow more smoothly in a time period without the DAO payments making some weird peaks. For example, if you choose like 7 days and by day, you will get some with stuff that, well, it's not appearing, but, well, you might find a smoother curve than this if you have because the DAO payments are done the same day as the burning. So, well, those things that happen. But yeah, we could add some options here. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestions, Shane.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this, guys. Looks amazing. Yeah, I mean, just to add to Shane's point, I mean, monetary base looks like it's very similar to circulating supply. I think it's off by about 5,000 here, looking at CoinGecko. So it's not that different. But yeah, I guess the other suggestion would be like to include FTV, fully diluted, like total token supply. Maybe you could like toggle between total supply and circulating supply. Could be helpful for folks if that's something that's easy to do. But yeah, love having a tool like this and being able to sort of really like put some of the burn in context.
Yeah, thanks. To anyone, if you have suggestions, you can go directly to our Discord and just create a thread or jump on any other thread and just suggest. We try to include everything that we are asked for. So sometimes it takes time, but we take it into account.
Yep, definitely. Let me share a link as well to your Discord in case you can type it. So that's PoktScan's Discord server. I've put it in the message. So if anyone want to suggest anything else or have any other questions or just wanted to join their community there, feel free to hop on board on their server through that link. All right. Any other questions before we move on then to the next topic? All right, I think we're good. Yeah, thanks again for showing us this. And go ahead.
Yeah, there are Pocket News just wrote something in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Let me answer it really quickly. If we have more features in the pipeline, yep, we have some revamping of this page, but you will see it later. It will be really awesome. But more on that on the next presentation, maybe.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you. All
right. Well, thank you, Ramiro, for showing us this, and thanks to the entire PoktScan team as well. Okay. So moving on to our next item on the agenda. So we just want to provide some updates, and first thing is regarding the DNA, and for that I just wanted to share that regarding the eras in terms of the proposed budget, we were going to set up a town hall next week instead of the community call so that we can have that discussion. But if we want to have a community call as well as another call, we can definitely do both. Just let me know when in the den. I have a poll set up there right now for you guys to kind of suggest a time for it, since it is a pretty unique call. So for that call, we'll be talking about the PIP 60 as the main focus. So yeah, if anything you guys like to discuss regarding that, just you can go ahead and prep for it, and we can get into it and dig into it deeper for next week's call. And then after that, Jack, do you want to go ahead and share some of the other updates in terms of the protocol team, token terminal, and HOM?
Sure. I didn't catch the last one you said. What was that?
Oh, the head of marketing.
Gotcha. So we've got a protocol team, token terminal, head of marketing. Sweet, sure. So yeah, things are moving forward with the burn and preparing all the data aggregators to display the burn on their dashboards. We're expecting Web3 index to go live on Monday. This is what their team told us, that they were going to target Monday for merging the PR. And so yeah, Web3 index will start displaying our burn from Monday if they stick to their schedule. So what that means is currently we have 0 fees listed there. What will happen is the explicit column in Web3 Index, that's web3index.org, will start to measure the burn, the USD value of the burn, and we will jump up to number 2 above live peer based on what we have burned in the last month. So we are sitting, I think we're on track for about $30K per month, which puts us above live peer, the Graph, Cash, SIA, and Helium, and just behind Storage. Storage just kind of surprised us all in the last month with a big jump up to 60K. So congrats to them. But yeah, we'll be sitting number 2, which looks pretty healthy. Token Terminal, we're working with them to get the listing updated. They're going to be updating more than just the fee mechanism. We actually, I had a call with the Token Terminal team last week, and we got a lot more clarity on how they plan to define our burn in reference to their usual metrics. My assumption was that the burn would be classified as fees, not revenue, and that revenue would be a function of burn minus emissions, where emissions can be thought of as supply side fees. That's not the case. Supply side fees are only classified as such if they are if a cut of the fees from the demand side is transferred directly to the supply side. So, for example, the Graph has microtransactions that are transferred to indexers from the demand side, and so their fee figure is a lot higher than their revenue figure because not all of that is because of the portion that's going to the supply side and then being deducted from the fee figure. In our case, the burn will actually be classified as revenue as well. So our fee and revenue figures will be identical. And where the supply side emissions come in is these are going to continue to be classified as token incentives, which they have been to date. And where they are deducted from the revenue is in the earnings figure, which determines the earnings of the protocol. And I did some digging on Token Terminal dashboard to see what those earnings look like across the industry. It seems to be a pretty good measure of or a proxy of inflation in a project, i.e. minting more than burning. And our earnings figure would actually look pretty damn healthy as well. Obviously still inflationary, so a negative earnings figure. But there's a surprising number of projects that have extremely negative earnings figures, magnitudes higher than we will have. So take a look if you're curious. It is quite eye-opening. And we expect Token Terminal to be a more significant sort of tool for people to use when evaluating which projects they want to participate in. They've just had just announced a partnership with Bloomberg Terminal. They're going to be, all their data is going to be visible in the Bloomberg Terminal. So we're quite excited to get updated on that. We're going to have fees, revenue. We're going to have the DAO Treasury, the value of the DAO Treasury listed. I'm speaking to them as well about having TVL displayed as a function of how much is staked by nodes. So yeah, we're going to get all of those updated, as well as the derivative metrics that that they display based on fees and revenue, like the PS ratio, the PF ratio, and so on. So in other words, like what is our revenue and our earnings and so on in comparison to our market cap? Again, very healthy looking in comparison to some of the other projects in the industry. So yeah, that will be it'd be good to get that all displayed on the site and demonstrate that we're on track to be a really healthy token economy price aside, of course. As far as timeline, we are speaking to them about getting it up ASAP. The dependency right now is they're working with the PoktScan team to get some API endpoints that will tell them the different data points that they can plug into their dashboards. So we get those API endpoints from the PoktScan team, and then they integrate them, and then we'll be good to go. So that's Web3 Index, that's Token Terminal. Messari is working on ingesting the blockchain data themselves. So they have a bigger project. They on principle want to have their own copy of the data that they can verify. So and this is part of their broader DAO funded effort to do reporting on Pocket and to have better, more comprehensive data about Pocket. So the timeline for Messari is less clear because they want to ingest all of the blockchain data and parse it themselves. But Messari is also not a platform that is used to the degree that Token Terminal is for this purpose. Yeah, all in all, very positive developments. We're expecting to get there very soon. And one thing to note is, like, we started to burn a few weeks ago, and the burn has been a really healthy amount, and all the associated metrics are looking really healthy. But of course, no one really outside of our ecosystem is aware that it's happening. So I don't believe that we're seeing the full effects on sentiment and industry opinion of Pocket. This should change once we get these data points listed on these dashboards. We also, the foundation has a PR firm now, and we've been talking to the PR firm about queuing up some pitches to media to spread awareness of the changes that are happening. And we're looking, where we're leaning towards is having a sort of broader piece that covers all of the interrelated positive developments, like the burn and multi-gateway, and potentially inflation control, subject to DAO approval. But yeah, that's everything for that. Regarding the protocol team, yeah, we are. You may have seen a sort of informal announcement in Telegram that Jess has decided to leave and pursue another opportunity. We wish her well. We already are working on finding a replacement. We're pretty optimistic that we'll be able to find a rock star. And we're going to have a forum post. Wait, it may not be a forum post. We're going to have more formal communication by tomorrow that will also include a link to a job description for this role. And we will have a referral fee so that anyone in the community who has a solid candidate in mind for this role will be rewarded with a referral fee. It will be quite healthy. I think maybe $15,000 most likely, and this will actually save us money versus paying headhunters and recruiters. So yeah, if you have any solid candidates in mind, keep an eye out for that and hit us up in Telegram or Discord to let us know. And yeah, and then the last one, head of marketing. Yeah, we have made an offer to a head of marketing who has accepted. And so in a few weeks, we will have, the foundation will have a head of marketing. We're very excited to bring her on board and do some awesome work. She has experience working with DAOs, and pretty legit DAOs like Bankless as an example, and a lot of experience in brand strategy, decades of experience working on brand strategy, building building global brands that are also localized, and this translates very well to a Web3 native philosophy about marketing known as headless brands. Ethereum has done a great job of that, and we are generally looking towards refreshing and refining Pocket's brand identity and marketing and so on. And so, yeah, she's going to be amazing for really stewarding that and helping to build our DAO's marketing function. So, yeah, all in all, really, really positive developments. Was there anything that I missed there, Ming?
Nope, you got it all. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? All right. If not, I guess last really item on the list is the hot topic discussion. I know that's been ongoing within the price TG regarding the inflation. So just a little bit too, we kind of wanted to share PNF perspective as well on that. So we'll probably bring Jack back on here to talk a little bit about that. And then other folks feel free to share some items as well. But of course, there's been a lot of healthy discussions on that already, and if we can transfer that also to the forum, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a little info from the PNF as well.
Sure. So I'm not going to monopolize the time here because this is an issue that is the DAO's jurisdiction. It's ultimately going to be up to the DAO to decide on this, and everyone deserves a chance to speak, especially with all of us being affected by whatever decision ends up being made. So, but yeah, we've been thinking on this. We've discussed with many stakeholders in the ecosystem and formed our own opinions of the best path forward. We completely disagree with the idea of going one-to-one mint and burn for a couple of reasons. It will bring what we're paying out to the supply side down to an extremely low level. We would be paying $30,000 a month, which equates, I believe, to 0.5% inflation as opposed to 12% inflation, which we're at currently. So it'd be almost like completely turning off the faucet. Not to mention, the other reason is that we kind of sacrifice any potential for economies of scale. As we outlined in the Road to Revenue post, having fixed inflation to sustain a certain capacity on the supply side allows us to actually grow the demand side in relation to the supply side and scale the utilization of the supply side and develop economies of scale. It doesn't really make sense to be scaling the supply side linearly with the number of relays, which is what would happen if we were to say one-to-one mint and burn and inflation increases with the number of relays. So we are working on a pre-proposal. We've had some initial feedback from some key stakeholders just to sort of test out the ideas, test out the sentiment, and we'll be publishing this pre-proposal in the next few days. But our thinking is that while we don't want to set inflation to one-to-one mint burn, we do feel that we would benefit from cutting inflation further under the existing mechanism of fixing it to a percentage with weekly updates. So the deflationary threshold right now on as kind of defined in the Road to Revenue post is 31 billion daily relays. So for the current supply side emissions, we would need to reach 31 billion daily relays to become deflationary. As we all know, the capacity limits of V0 make that impossible. And once V1 launches, it will, I expect, take some time to build to that level. So the other context here is that we have a lot of we have a lot of good PR coming out in the next month about the burn, about the revenue. The data points are being listed on all of these dashboards. And we're also going to be able to speak about the evolution of our ecosystem towards a multi-gateway ecosystem with multiple sources of revenue to the protocol. These are all positive developments, but the impact of those news items might be weakened if inflation is at a level that the sort of general industry thinks is too high, and also at a level where revenue looks pretty small in comparison. So our thinking was to bring the percentage down from 12% to approximately 5%, which would be 220,000 pocket a day, as opposed to 600 and something pocket a day. And this would equate to why 5%? It's like, I think it's actually like 4.98%. Why that percent? This would bring the deflationary threshold down to 10 billion daily relays, which is a very nice North Star for us all to have. It is attainable in V0 with some scalability improvements, and is having hit 2 billion daily relays not too long ago. It can conceivably be something that we reach in the next year or two. So yeah, that's our general thinking and the reasoning behind it. But I'll cede the floor, and I'll let others who have strong opinions on this share those.
Thanks, Jack. So anyone else wanted to share their thoughts as well on this?
Yeah, I can maybe add to what Jack said. If anyone else wants to jump in. Yeah, I mean, I guess first I just want to say, like, we do kind of hear everyone's frustration. You know, we know a lot of node runners are hurting, and a lot of community members are just frustrated about the situation. But I think whatever the community decides, it is important to remember there is a cost to providing the network, and the first priority is to provide reliable RPC service. So, I think it's really important that we do look at the long term and also look around at some of our peers. I think a lot of other proof of stake networks already kind of in the range we're in. So there may be room for a bit of belt tightening, but I do think at the end of the day, there is a level where we need a minimum level of inflation to pay for the service. And I think, there are other areas we can look to help kind of continue to build our presence and raise awareness of Pocket and increase usage, which I think is the ultimate. Growing the pie is going to be the ultimate thing that helps sort of get us closer to, I guess like a profitable network, right, or net deflationary. So yeah, I'll just add that.
Thanks, Nelson. Anyone else have anything to add? So Puck News is asking, what does the node economy look with a 4.98% inflation? Is it sustainable?
Sorry, I was having a hard time unmuting myself there. So yeah, look, what this would equate to, whether it's truly sustainable or not, is it's a bit of a black box, I think, to some people. There's been many efforts to demystify the cost of the supply side. We have a survey coming out that's looking to get a bit more information from node runners. Every node runner knows their own books. They don't know each other's books. Like, it's really hard for us to say, yeah, this is exactly how much we're spending on the network on providing these chains. And based on these figures, we know that we want at least X nodes for each chain to sustain minimum sort of QoS for apps. Therefore, this is how much we need to spend a month. Like, that data doesn't exist. We're going to be working on, we're going to be putting a survey out to try to demystify that. But ultimately, that the quality of that survey depends on how effectively people answer, how many people bother to answer, and so on. And we all want to know each other's books. We don't want anyone else to know our books. I'm not a node owner, but that's the sort of impression I get. In terms of how much this would be, let's put that in perspective. So 4.98%, sorry, so basically 5%, would be 220,000 Pocket a day. And it would be $254,000 a month. So that's how much would be minted at I think the reference price for these calculations was 3.8, because that was a 30-day trailing average. So obviously it's a bit different now today, but yeah, based on a trailing average of 3.8 cents, 5% inflation would equate to almost would equate to $250,000 a month. So the node runners who have their own expenses know better than I do whether $250,000 a month would be sufficient to cover their own books. We would expect, if we are cutting inflation, that it would lead to some consolidation and cost cutting and reduction of the provisioning of the supply side. But yeah, that's what I can say to that right now.
Right. So yeah, Ramiro put in some info as well. Node runner services earn from 20 to 30% with no rewards. So a rather big node runner with 5% of the network and 30% rev share will receive about 250,000, which at the current POC price. So yeah, it's a little bit of an insight there shared. I know we're over by a bit in terms of the time, but yeah, I mean, if you guys don't mind, we're okay to do a little longer. But if you have anyone else have any questions or something they want to share about this, anyone else? So Breezy has entered a comment. This is a decentralized ecosystem. We shouldn't be determined cost based on the cost of the node providers, but rather the cost of independent node runners. The survey should give us an idea on the percentage we should target. So yeah, great points there. And hopefully we'll get a lot of good feedbacks too from the survey that we'll have out, and then get a better picture of overall perspective.
Yeah, very valid points. We're putting this pre-proposal out to get the discussion started, and we feel that 5% feels like a good level, because the combination of bringing inflation down to a percentage that looks non-notable in comparison to other projects is low inflation as far as crypto is concerned, and also we're setting a deflationary threshold of 10 billion daily relays. But yeah, absolutely, we want to get these survey results, and hopefully these results will give us the information we need to say, yes, 5% is sufficient, or actually, no, we can go lower, or no, we need to go higher. If anyone feels strongly about this and wants to help me with survey design, I'm working on a second draft of the survey after some initial feedback. The survey design is critical. That will determine what data points that we're able to gather. And there's a balance to be struck where we don't want it to be too detailed and complex, because then we're going to get less answers. We want to strike that balance between getting enough data points per node runner, but also maximizing the number of people that actually answer the survey. So if you think you'll be able to help out with that, hit me up, and that can speed things along.
Perfect. So Pok News is asking, possible to have survey next week. I guess it really depends on how many people also.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No later than next week.
Cool.
And I'll with that timing, I'll probably jump on the Node Runner office servers as well next Wednesday to really blast it out and get as many independents answering it as possible.
Perfect. Yeah, Miss Kitty stated would be curious to see how many independents are running a GeoMesh client as well. So, all right. Any other thoughts, questions? All right. If not, I'm just gonna end this on a positive note. Just want to do a little call out to the entire Node Fleet team for their dedication and expertise on taking on the responsibility to help maintain the testnet validators, testnet seats, and mainnet seats for our community. So yeah, it's awesome for them to help take this on. Just want to call them out as well to end this. All right, and I think there was there another comment? Nope. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that will be it from us. So thank you all for joining, and looking forward to next week's town hall. Then we can dig into more the PIP 60. So see you guys then. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ming and team.
Thank you.